All right. You just got back from a foreign trip. I heard you went to the headquarters of ICAO, the International Civil Aeronautics Organization, the UN agency looking after aviation worldwide in Montreal. What was the purpose of the trip? Were you trying to sell the Philippines, or were you negotiating some deal for the country?
Yeah, that's a 3-city Canada tour.
Okay.
First, we went to Vancouver.
Okay.
Then to Montreal, and then eventually to Toronto.
Okay.
And the purpose of that visit is to join the Trade Commission of Canada, to make sure Trade Commission of Canada in the Philippines, to bring in investors from Canada to the Philippines.
Fantastic.
And I've chosen Clark because of the programs that we have gathered together as something that's very interesting for Canadian companies.
I see.
So we were together with the Asian Development Bank and the Public-Private Partnership Center.
Okay.
So together, we were able to present our plans for the country. The huge PPP projects, a large number of them are with the Department of Transportation, including that is the Clark International Airport Corporation's flagship projects.
Right.
So we were there to talk to the various investors and then talk to a sector in Montreal which is handling aviation industry. And that company is Aero Montreal.
Aero Montreal, okay.
Yeah. And Aero Montreal is a big sector which handles manufacturing of planes, parts, including defense, security, also training, pilots and many other things. So we saw that as an opportunity for us to attract them, to locate, or to have a business with the Clark International Airport Corporation for Clark. And they were impressed with our transparency and the way we've presented our plans, and they're impressed in a way that they told us that the plans are laid out carefully and we know what we're doing.
Right.
So they're quite interested in signing an agreement with us where we could explore opportunities for the different corporations under their sector of the sector of Aero Montreal. And among them is about bringing in labor from the Philippines, laborers from the Philippines, because Canada, specifically in Montreal, they need a lot of people, highly skilled people for their expansions. They're growing immensely. They're number 3 in the world in terms of aviation, but they cannot expand because they lack people. They lack labor. So what we've discussed is that we, CIAC, and through CIAC, the Philippines can help Canada in bringing in that required skill sets in Montreal. Right,
and then at the same time, as you said, they're going to invest.
They're going to invest in Clark, training facilities, and not just that. There are certain corporations or industries within that Aero Montreal, which handles a big sector, to be able to move some of their production, their manufacturing sites in Clark.
I see. Fantastic. So this is under negotiation. When do you think this will be finalized, and when can you expect to make a formal announcement about this deal? Is it going to be 2024, or does it take longer than that, or what's your expectation?
We already have a set date for signing that memorandum of agreement.
Fantastic.
It's gonna be in May.
In May of 2024.
In 2024, May of next year. Now, what's going on for us is that the good thing is that the Trade Commission of Canada is helping us out in finalizing this agreement with them, with Montreal, Aero Montreal. So there's a big celebration that's happening between Canada and the Philippines by next year. I'm not sure about the specific period, but we are going to celebrate our economic partnership. The partnership between Philippines and Canada. I'm not sure whether it's the 75th anniversary, so it's going to be a great way to celebrate that by having another economic contract, which could be witnessed maybe, by the president of our country.
Yeah, not many people know this, but Philippines and Canada, they have a long relationship. The very first investors in the Philippines or Canadian. I know not many people know this. Sun Life, which is a Canadian insurance company, was here in 1898, even before the First Republic. So, and I think operated throughout even the Japanese occupation period. So, a very interesting history. Were there any talks about, or maybe anything exploratory about Canadian Airlines, Air Canada flying to the Philippines? Is that something that came up at all during your talks? Or?
Yeah, that's right. We were there, and we were there to convince the airlines to
fly here.
To fly here.
Okay.
And
there are, I don't know, like maybe 300,000 or so Filipinos now in Canada. There are a lot of Filipinos immigrating there despite the cold weather.
So we heard. When we were in Toronto alone, there's so many Filipinos that welcome us.
Yeah. I used to work there with the Philippine consulate in Toronto. That's how I know. So, but Canada has been a very open country for Filipino immigrants. But I want to go back to your plans, because what caught my attention when we first met was your vision really to go back to the original intent of making Clark it's beyond the airport, but you want to make it into a logistics hub.
Yeah.
Right? Can you expound on that? Or what is the plan of making it a logistics hub?
All of these plans that we have prepared, there are 7 flagship projects of CIAC under the BBM administration.
Right.
And it's about following the intended master plan for the vision for Subic and Clark.
Yeah.
And even Central Luzon to be the center for transshipment.
Okay.
And that has been
So you have
since in the 1990s.
You have the port in Subic and then the airport in Clark. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And all the master plans that have been,
updated, revised, redesigned,
yes, are all intended to make Clark as a center for transshipment, as a logistics hub.
Yeah.
So when we came in, we just went true to what that vision is.
Yeah.
So our tagline now is that we are going to transform Clark as a premier global civil aviation logistics hub of the Philippines.
That's fantastic.
Right. And now when we went to other parts, sharing all our plans, it seems like we should be looking at not just a hub of the Philippines, but hub of the Southeast Asia region.
The region. I see. Interesting.
Because we are strategically located.
And what's interesting is your background with BCDA. So I guess where I'm going with this is that are you looking to connect now Clark, which is part of that logistics hub, with the other areas of concern of BCDA, like Pora Point, John Hay? I mean, these other projects that you were involved in. Is there a plan maybe, or maybe some initial discussions on maybe how to connect all of those gateways and interest points, right?
Yeah. It's the good thing about having an overview of what the
you're not just focused on the airport. You're looking at, as you said, not just the country, but also Southeast Asia, right?
If you look back at the infrastructure that have been completed by the BCDA, which the subsidiaries are now enjoying, we have, I can give you one example right away. You look at the Subic-Clark-Tarlac Expressway.
Mm-hmm.
It's a project made by the Bases Conversion and Development Authority.
Yeah.
They entered into a loan, as guaranteed by the national government. BCDA entered into a loan with the Japanese, with JICA.
Mm-hmm.
So they built the longest expressway in the Philippines, which connects the Subic Seaport, the Clark Airport, and Tarlac Industrial Parks. So it's just an example of how the BCDA has planned to connect to have synergy and convergence of all these former military bases that they are mandated to convert into economic growth centers. So even that expressway, I heard back then that the TIPLEX was the Tarlac Pangasinan La Union Expressway was part of the master plan of the BCDA, and even that expressway is supposed to be connected all the way to Baguio, because we have a special economic zone by the BCDA there, which is Janhe. So apart from the expressway, it has also undertaken, initiated a major rail, a cargo rail that connects Subic and Clark.
Okay.
So it's a project that has already taken place because the consultant and the consultant that's going to make the alignments, better, and the design for the rails are going to be efficiently done, has already been contracted by the BCDA. So the good thing about that is that the subsidiaries like CDC, CIAC, Janhe, and Poro Point can focus on building and doing just its responsibilities within the sphere, within the areas or the properties that they are mandated to take care of.
So clue us in on like the bigger vision, because is it in terms of why is a logistics hub important? Is it to build a new center for the Philippines? Is it an alternative to Metro Manila, which is already congested, or maybe somewhere in between?
It's about a holistic approach.
Okay.
Ever since, from the very beginning when all the master plans were made, we always take a look at, demographics. You also have to take a look at the geography. And Central Luzon is really center. It's center of everything. It's sort of the rice granary of the Philippines, and then it's strategically located. It's very tactical. In a way, that's why the Americans chose
Subic.
Subic and Clark to be there.